Hello everyone! It's finally time to make a custom figure of my first 6-star character and my main gal, the one and only Lin from Tower of Fantasy. I'm really proud of how she turned out, so make sure you watch all the way to the end. I should also mention that I've partnered up with Tower of Fantasy to get some extra codes for my subscribers. Throughout the video, you'll see random codes on the screen that may contain black nucleus, gold nucleus, and even dark crystals. So make sure you keep an eye out for them in the video. I hope you're lucky enough to grab one before they're gone. You know, I actually played the game because of Lin. I thought she was so cool being able to fly and deal damage by summoning big lotus flowers to attack and bring enemies down with her fan. I even saved all my dark crystals for when she first came out. I always knew that if I was going to make a full figure from the game, the first one was definitely going to be her. However, full-scale figures take longer to make compared to chibis because of the big size difference. Oh, and if you haven't seen it yet, I actually made a chibi figure of Muriel that you can check out in the link at the top right of the video and description. That being said, I really enjoyed the challenge that she brought with the simple but refined elegance in her details. One of these challenges was the fact that I work with air-dry clay. It can often dry very quickly the thinner the clay is. When making her traditional pleated skirt, I have to be fast with forming the folds so they sit right and look natural. Next, I make the top of her uniform by starting with a base layer of green and forming it to her collar. Then I can add her tie and cover it with her white top, again making it form-fitting to her body and smoothing it out with my tools. Her top coat has a lot of layers, so I need to make sure to blend them together really well before I add the collar. I can't put into words just how much I like Lin, because if you look into the details of her character design and name, it seems like the developers thought of everything. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but you should definitely look it up. And now I can add other details of her outfit to complete her uniform. Lin has a silver belt, some golden buttons, and a fancy chain adorning her outfit. For this figure, I wanted to have her seated on a nice adorned chair, much like how she is in her banner that I use for reference. Since she's going to be leaning over on her weapon a bit, I made sure to pose her with her left arm straight down for support on the chair. This also gives the figure more stability when I finally glue her down. When I made Lin, I actually forgot she had a shoulder cape and golden tassels, so she felt a bit lacking for me until I remembered. For the chair, I used some popsicle sticks that I glued together to form the base of the seat before I covered it in clay. I also added a nice layer of gold paint to match the decorations on the legs, armrests, and back of the chair. On to the weapon. Lin's fan was a bit tricky to make. I originally tried to make it all out of clay, but it was too thick, so I ended up using some origami paper to make the folds inside the fan and surrounded them with an outer layer of clay that I painted the details on. I think it turned out pretty cool. To me, the hair was the easiest part of this figure. I started out with her bangs and then added her dyed strand before moving on to the back strands. In her A3 and summer skin, you might notice that her hair has more green streaks at the tips, But since this is her default skin, I kept it simple like how it is in the game. Lin also has a nice braid along the side and an adorned hair tie. To tie things up, I'm adding her earring. That's it for this video. I hope you were lucky enough to grab a code before they're gone. Thank you for watching and please consider subscribing if you want to see more. See you in the next video!